Today's Tips to Jour Mailbag question comes to us from Italy. Dear Robert, I'm trying to remove the frets from my fretboard. However, I'm getting a lot of chip out as the frets are removed. Am I doing something wrong? Please help. Massimo in Italy. Well, Massimo, removing frets from an old fretboard can create a problem, and the problem you're finding is you get chip out. Let me show you a couple of things I do to help minimize this as I'm removing frets. So the first thing I like to do is heat the fret. And I'm just using a little soldering iron here, and I run it along the fret. Make sure that you have some solder on the tip there so you don't ruin the tip. And what that's doing is heating up that fret and perhaps helping loosen any adhesive that was used in there to hold that fret in. And I don't know if there was any adhesive used. Perhaps there was, perhaps there wasn't. But if you heat the fret, it will help break down any adhesive that was used in there. It also helps shrink the wood just a little bit from around the fret as it's drying out. It gets hot, and it will help relax that slot just a little bit. Next, I'm going to come in with a pair of cutters like this. Now, these cutters I've put on a grinder on my disc sander and have ground a flat surface on there. So what I'm going to do is come in, start at one side here, and press down with the pliers as I start to get those pliers up under there and squeeze. And there you go. You have very minimal chip out, if any at all. Now let me show you another pair of pliers here that I have. And this trick I learned from Scott Baxendale of Baxendale Guitars. I want to give him credit for this. What this is just a pair of cutters that I went down to my local hardware store and bought, and then I put on a edge grinder to grind that edge flat. I then took a Dremel and opened up the area there in the middle with a little grinder, and then recessed this area here just a little bit. Now let me show you how I use these pliers. Now, according to Scott, you can use this without heating up the fret slot. That's the beauty of this design. However, as a little security, I like to go ahead and heat the slot just a little bit by heating the fret and let it dissipate down into the slot. I then come in with the tool and start on one edge. I'm just going to apply lateral pressure like this. As I'm applying lateral pressure, it's forcing the fret up. But because the bottom of the tool is flat and I'm only applying lateral pressure, I'm not pulling up on the fret, in theory it should help hold all of that ebony down in there. Now you notice the fret goes right through the underside of the tool and comes out the back side. And there you go. So here it is again. Start with the tool, just get under the edge there. Work the tool right on across the fret. And the fret goes under the tool and out the back side. And you can remove frets very quickly by doing it this way with little chance of tear out. So Massimo, I hope you have found this information useful, and happy fretting.